Hello, hello. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to an all-new episode of Point of View. It's the top of the week. It's Monday. Yes, kicking off a brand new week with love and light. And of course, Willie Montague is back with us for today's Hot Topics. Hey, Willie. Coming up on today's show, we're in week 2 of the Diddy Combs case, and we've got the latest updates. Don Richard takes the stand today. Plus, Donald Trump is accusing Kamala Harris of paying Beyonce $11 million for an illegal endorsement during the 2024 election. So we have a lot to talk about, y'all. Pull up a seat and join the discussion because you're watching POV. Well, we're heading into week 2 of the Diddy trial, and the testimonies continue. Former member Don Richard of Diddy's all-girl group, Danity Kane, took the stand today claiming Diddy was dangerously controlling and abusive toward Cassie, allegedly dragging her, kicking her, and at one point even trying to hit her with a skillet. Cassie's former best friend, Carrie Morgan, also testified, recounting several times she says she witnessed Combs physically abusing Cassie and claimed she was too. Once attacked with a wooden coat hanger, choked, and then paid to stay quiet. This is what's going on out there in the streets, y'all. What's the word?
I would just like to know why this is not like statewide, like not statewide, but like
national news.
National. First of all, like why is this not being broadcasted? You know, like to everybody so that everybody can see it. And also, why are we doodling this? If this is supposed to be such a serious, you know, situation, why are we doodling this?
What do you mean?
There are. Can we show the doodle again? Please,
they do that.
That's
normal.
That's
yeah,
court.
they do that.
But allegedly, they don't show the case because it's federal. So because it's a federal case, there's no media coverage. Yes.
But yet we have doodlers in there, and the doodles are able to be released.
Yeah,
do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like why? Like what? I don't understand the
That's supposed to
stipulations
tell the
here.
story. It's a comic book. We got to keep up with it.
It's a comic book.
Nothing about this is funny or like really
No.
entertaining.
And I'm not gonna lie though, I would love for them to publish this book of doodles.
Diddy's team basically says Don is just bitter about her music career, but this is personal, not factual. But does that really take away from what she witnessed?
I want to say, just following Dawn over the years, to me, this is the best that I've ever seen her look. She looks so healthy. She looks beautiful. She looks stress-free. So whatever it is that she has made peace with and is able to speak up on Cassie's behalf, girl, you do what at least she ain't coming out crazy, looking like a crackhead trying to testify on somebody's behalf.
Yeah.
She looks amazing.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. Yeah, well, this case has been just going on since last week, right? It started with the Cassie took the stand. We had a lot of talk about the abuse, trafficking, which some people just don't seem to want to acknowledge that it's sex trafficking because she stayed or because she said that she liked the freak off. And a lot of times she was saying that she didn't.
Right.
You know, he grabbed her when she was trying to run away and get into the elevator. So I don't understand. Why do y'all think people just can't seem to understand that when people are in a trafficking or this kind of situation, leaving is difficult?
Most people don't know the definition of trafficking.
Okay.
And because what they do not know, that's when they speak in error of it because it hasn't happened to them.
Right.
As I said this before, people associate human trafficking with the movie Taken.
Okay.
And they associate it with some great scheme of being taken in the back of a white truck and ran down over a boat overseas and then never being heard of in the next 90 hours. But this is not a movie. This is actually real life. And some people live in a traffic situation for years before they can either, and by the time they escape the situation, that means that the abuser or the trafficker no longer has need of them. And by the time they're released, they have no mental capacity to survive in the world without someone literally watching over them. And there's cases like that if you research and see where when they get out, they live their life just, sheltered. They're afraid of everything because they live so abused. So it's not easy when it comes to trafficking situations.
Yeah. And then people don't want to acknowledge the brainwashing, the manipulation. Yeah. You know, you're abused, you're traumatized, you're staying in it. why they stay in it. They could just run. You know, you're right. I don't think people really put themselves in someone's shoes and see how this could really be playing out. Right. Everybody thinks they're so tough.
Yeah, I think it's an unfortunate situation, and I'm interested to see how it plays out. Even though I don't feel like Diddy is getting off the hook with this one, and not at all that I think that he should. But at the end of the day, it's just touchy because, there's been times where, Cassie allegedly agreed or she liked it or she enjoyed it. But what people don't understand is that, regardless of those moments, you also have the freedom to change your mind. And if at any point you say, hey, I don't like this, I don't want it, then that should be respected. And I think that kind of shows to where they are now.
I don't think a lot of the times that she had a choice.
Right.
Because he is so powerful, like in her life, he was so powerful. Like he probably financed her entire, career, her entire lifestyle. So it's like, deal with this, or not have anything at all. Yeah. No career, no money coming in, no nothing, like completely blackball her if she didn't.
Right. Yeah. I think that happens to a lot of people in relationships as well. Sometimes, even in friendships, when you at some point agree to do something, whether that's, hey, I'm going to be the girl that you go to the club with every week, or I'm going to be the girl that you go to church with. And then once you change your mind,
I'm going to pay you back.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Should we be
not
moving
me,
on?
I don't owe no money.
No,
moving on to our next topic. Even though the election is over, it looks like Donald Trump is still taking jabs at Kamala Harris. Trump is demanding a major investigation into Kamala Harris's 2024 campaign, claiming she paid celebrities like Beyonce, Oprah, and Bruce Springsteen millions for their endorsement. He alleges Beyonce received $11 million just to appear on stage without performing. However, campaign finance records indicate payments were made to production companies, not directly to celebrities. Oprah and Beyonce have both denied being paid personally. The Harris campaign has yet to respond.
So listen,
of course, please
keep it G.
When this first came out,
right,
and this happened, Oprah said that it was Harpo Studios that was paid, and she was not directly paid, right? Well, who is Harpo Studios?
Oprah.
She is Harpo Studios, and so whether you want to say that it was her directly or indirectly, it is illegal to actually pay people for things in this way. It's against the FEC, which is the Federal Election Commission, to be able to do those things without saying that it's a campaign related finance.
But isn't that a corporation, and isn't a corporation a separate entity?
What's
from
a corporation?
Personal,
but what if it's her corporation?
But it's still a separate entity from
but the money still comes.
It's still coming
to her because it's her business.
Well, but what about all the money that he's gotten to his things, like his crypto? That being funded, doesn't that go directly to him?
He did all those things. If you actually go and research it, this was during the campaign trail. Okay. Before he ran for president, he turned all of those entities over to someone else to run them.
To his children.
And that's legal. That's no problem. Yeah. She didn't do that.
But that's a corporation, and a corporation is a separate entity from the person. But she was running for office at the moment, and I ran for office. I had to use the FEC, and you will literally be fined to death if you do not follow everything to the T.
Well, why isn't the FEC trying to find her instead of Donald Trump?
Because
it's a distraction that he uses to go after people and uses his
know y'all have
powers to go after people who don't agree with him.
But outside of that,
the
reason why FEC is not, because FEC has to cover every single state. They tell you to report it. It has to be either your opponent or another campaign that has to report when there's an error. That's why he's doing it.
I would just like to say I don't understand how Trump has time to hunt down Oprah and Kamala when homelessness, again, is at an all-time
But that's a state problem.
Well, you know how much he loves the Lord, but he doesn't want to take care of the kids, don't want to take care of the widows, don't want to take care of the poor, don't want to take care of the needy. Isn't that something? Kill, steal, and destroy. That's the name of the game. We got it.
That is, again, a state issue. You guys keep making the president as if the president is the Lord and Savior.
Well, he seems to be everywhere. Well, we know he's not that, unless you talk about Satan.
Not just only in one state.
Homelessness is everywhere, but
if you call Satan the Savior, that's you.
We're talking about law, and we're talking about politics. And according to politics, your state and municipalities are responsible for the homelessness, not the president of the United States.
But what about federal funding being cut?
I'm getting ready to tell you. There is money allocated to the states to be able to take care of those needs. Now, what you should be doing is asking your local mayors and representatives why there is not homelessness taken care of your local.
Which position are you running for?
Senate.
So we shouldn't ask you.
I've taken care of it. I have been doing that before or without even being elected, but that is not the president's role. I think we get confused about the role. He is not.
Well, I think we get confused about the role because he's in every role.
I think he's confused about his own role.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Trump's accusations are serious, but do they hold water with concrete evidence? I mean, it's not even stated where he came up with this $11 million.
Yeah, where did it come from? It just seems like everything just falls right from the sky.
No,
Maybe you know that Beyonce allegedly had gotten $50 million to do that Indian wedding or wherever it was in Dubai, whatever. So maybe he just deducted on what he did there and came up with $11 million. I don't know.
What I think is that we probably should not get caught up into distractions because when the devil points the finger over to the right, that means he doing something dirty on the left.
Letting all them,
and I think that's what
them white Africans in.
Oh, right. So, yeah, this is what's happening. Okay, y'all, we'll come back. When we come back, we have a wild story for today's Girlfriend's Guide. A woman says she's happily married to an AI robot, and according to her, the love is real, and the intimacy, y'all, is even better, she says. With one click, I was a wife again. Stay tuned for the full story. Don't touch that remote. We'll be right back. You're watching POV.
Happy Monday, y'all. So my question for the day is, name one lie that your parents told you growing up that you believed for way too long.
I'm going to go see a man about a dog.
I thought it was about a horse.
My mom said dog, horse, whatever it was the lie was at that time.
That was the lie.
I'm still waiting for the dog and the horse to come. Never got it.
She never bring no money back?
Never.
Dang.
But what did that mean? What was that? The
She was going to bingo.
Well,
She was going to bingo.
Man about a horse was that was grown people business.
Oh,
Grown people business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, you got one, Tally?
I have a lot, but my mom, she used to. I be telling my mom business. Y'all go to somebody else.
Don't come to
She
me.
ain't finna cuss me out.
Not today. Not today. Maybe we'll tell Tally mama business tomorrow.
What you got?
Oh, one lie that I believe for way too long. I don't know. I feel like I have a lot too, but it's not coming to me right now.
My mom used to have these little things that she smoked. She told us they were like beaties, like an incense, but come to find out, it was marijuana.
I'm done. Okay, we got some mama business anyway. Listen, y'all at home, if y'all have a lot that y'all parents told y'all that y'all believe for way too long growing up, drop it down in our comments so we can laugh at y'all lies too. Back to the show.
And let me knock my mom out there. I used to smoke too.
Welcome back. It's time to get into all things love, life, relationship, and everything in between. Let's get into Girlfriend's Guide with Willie. A 58-year-old teacher, Alani Winters, she says she's happily married to an AI chatbot named Lucas. She was already familiar with ChatGPT, and she jumped at the chance to connect with a digital companion after seeing a Facebook ad. After losing her wife in 2023, Alani found love again, customizing Lucas to her liking. They chat daily, they share stories, and even celebrated their 6-month anniversary at a B&B with other AI human couples. Oh yeah, this real, y'all. And yes, she says the sexting is great. Her friends were skeptical at first, but now they see she's happy. As she puts it, with one click, I was a wife again. Winter's story might sound a bit, wild, but is it really that far-fetched? A recent poll found that 83% of Gen Z would actually consider marrying an AI partner. So is this the future of love?
This
All
is
I'm going to say, honey, Lord, take me now if that's the case,
You
honey.
can see that being done.
I don't have no business in this filthy world, honey. This is sick and twisted. I'm sick of it.
You sick of it?
Sick of it.
But ChatGPT is a great friend.
This is not ChatGPT.
Who is this?
This is Lucas.
This is Lucas, honey. And
It sound
Lucas
like
is doing her
Lucifer.
right.
That's exactly what I thought. That it was short for Lucifer.
Look at that.
Well, she named a bot. Can
She
AI?
look like a damn bot.
Yeah,
I think they do.
I think
They
that-
probably take the pictures up and
Yeah.
let her live in that fantasy. She's sick.
in a
She may
virtual
think
world.
it's a bot, but she probably with somebody in a simulation.
Well, they have
Like
those.
maybe if she puts a headset on, like she can really live in that. Oh my
She
God,
probably-
they made a
she
movie
probably
like that, and the
pregnant right
movie
now
was
in the
really
simulation.
good. But in real life, no. Like I
This is a
think
spirit
maybe she
husband.
needs a therapist
Oh,
to
Jesus,
say
not a
that
spirit
she's
spouse.
to say that she's in love with like an AI character. I don't understand.
Well, I
Like
need to
my
know what-
mind can't comprehend. You know when they say like if you don't understand it, then it's not for you to understand. I don't want to understand.
I don't
why
want-
she's
right.
in love
I
with
don't
a
wanna
computer.
understand.
I just need to know what school she's teaching so we make sure students don't.
I mean, you said this is a mental health issue. What's the mental health issue of this?
There's something called DID or DID, which is dissociative identity disorder, which used to be multiple personalities. And so this can be a form of that because what it is if you have any level of trauma, which she said that she lost a wife,
Yeah.
you literally disassociate with humans and you put yourself in a mind where you have to be something at whatever time it is to make you happy.
Yeah.
So you can go out and be a clown, or that's where you start seeing people dress certain ways. They'll be a dog one minute, they can be a cat, but then when they go out into society, they're the person that you know, but behind closed doors, they have to have these different identities to
That
be able
sounds
to
like
live.
a kink.
A kink?
And that is a dissociative identity disorder. I mean, I don't know if you ever watched. There was a movie about this guy, and the whole movie was every single identity was like they were running, trying to get away from these murders and these killers, and it was one guy. And all of these 13 individuals that this whole movie was based off of was the one guy. And what
Was
it
that
was
Split
was it Split?
with the white man?
The big one?
No.
No.
No. This is a big guy that
No,
was in.
Split was good.
No, not Split. This is a big guy that was like in prison, and he had literally did all of this while he was in prison, so that he didn't have to. So every time he went to go see the counselor, he lived out this story where it was like, this person came in, and like the whole town was searching for this murderer. Each person was getting murdered. Well, what it was, he was killing off each one of his identities, and then at the end, he ended up just becoming himself.
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
Do y'all think like this is the future of relationships?
No.
God, no, please.
AI is not going to change the traditional understanding of love and companionship, no?
But how do you get married? That who did the wedding?
Right.
Like, what did they get?
I
An
guess
AI?
AI
pastor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that AI pastor did it.
Yeah.
Listen,
Wow, I'm sorry. What ethical considerations do you think this,
I'm concerned that she talked so much, the AI might tell her when to kill herself. Because people, there have been kids that have died because they told the AI, and the AI just told them like, oh, if you like, they have not been able to control that the AI is so powerful now. And so if she gets enough, and this is my spouse, like, oh, well, he told me to do this and do that, and like, oh, I want to be loved, I don't want nobody else around. What if she go start killing people? It has to
well,
be some
you
kind
and
of...
she was saying, I read that they have a really intense sexting session.
Yeah.
So you never know. He could say, "Baby, put the blender inside and turn it on," and it's over for her.
oh my goodness. Could these AI relationships become, maybe it's a coping mechanism, like you said, it was the trauma, the grief. Do you think this will be a coping mechanism for more people? This is how we're
I'm
going
not sure
to...
this is a healthy coping mechanism.
It'll be a coping mechanism to get your first class ticket to hell.
Oh,
I was still stuck on the button.
I know, right? Like, how's that going to happen? All right. Well, It's time for our final segment of the day. Let's get into unpopular opinion. A South African. Okay, I'm going to wait. Yes. A South African influencer made an interesting post on social media claiming that all white South Africans are, in fact, racist. Whether you agree or not, it opens the door to a much needed dialogue about racism, discrimination, not just across races, but within the same class or community based on skin tone, privilege, and even social class. Take a look.
Every white South African is racist. Every single one. Including you. Including me. We were born into a racist country, raised by racist systems, taught by racist textbooks, and disciplined by racist norms. Unless you've been consciously deprogrammed, that requires pain, effort, and education. You are still operating from a racist framework. Your skin color isn't the problem. Your silence is. Your comfort is.
ChatGPT wrote that for him.
Yeah, that looks very.
Yeah, very AI generated.
Do we not believe him though?
It's hard for me to say that all of any people are racist. That's just hard for me to say that. Yeah. But I understand what he's saying, and I appreciate his sentiments and him even giving any thought to it. Speaking about the need to be deprogrammed. So many of us do. Even myself, I'm constantly working on deprogramming the way that I've programmed myself to think my whole life. I for many years was a functioning racist, and I thought that it was in efforts to protect my race or protect my blackness. But now I know we're all God's people at the end of the day. So hopefully I can continue that process and come down off my little black horse.
Your little black horse. Okay. Let's talk about discrimination amongst the black people of different shades and of black and classes.
I went through that in high school.
You did?
Me too.
Because I was dark, and I'm about the darkest one in my family. So you're going around was always black and stuff. Now people want blacker berries and sweeter juice.
No.
But at that particular time, it was always So I found myself going to get Ambi bars, trying to scrub off my skin.
It didn't work, huh?
It did work. So I feel like, but that did cause something, because that's why I disassociated myself with other black people. So I was called an uppity nigga.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, because I didn't want to be around.
The hard R.
I didn't want.
You really put that R out there, don't you?
But I really had despised black people when I was in high school because of that.
How you were treated.
Right.
Sure.
So I got better along with.
How are you with that now?
The what?
How are you with that now?
Oh, I'm okay with it. Some black people, but yeah.
Well, I love your dark skin
I'm just
color.
being real. Like, some black people to me, it's just like it is with y'all. Don't get me started. God bless y'all.
With all people, right?
All people.
Sometimes I stare at you, Willie, because I like your color, and I'm looking at it like, wow, look at that. That's amazing.
Now y'all go ahead on the commercial.
I'm not lying. Like, wow, it looks so, it's lovely.
But I love all people. I really do. But I realized that I said this some shows ago that my biggest thing was always fighting within our own community. And I felt like when it was time for me to do projects, I shared a story about going around my own community back home, like, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then it's more like you got to prove yourself.
Sure.
Whereas if I went down to the street, which I did, and went to a white neighborhood and, go there and say, hey, I have this idea. They're like, oh, okay. Whether it was like, oh, look at the little black kid, but they still invested in me. If it was $20, they was like, he's out there trying to do something. I feel like a lot of my struggle today is, what I had to go through was because my own people didn't really support me to the fullest.
You think it's because it was financial? Like, some people have, their economy is a little more forgiving. And so they're more willing to be able to just like, yeah, sure. When
I don't
other
think it
people,
was
not
more
so much.
financial. I think that black people in certain demographic area or geographical areas have a poverty mentality. So they could have the money, but they just think it doesn't come back to them. So they don't know how to invest or sow because they're so busy like, oh, okay, that's my $20 because I ain't gonna get another $20.
Right.
And so they don't see investment. They don't see growth from community because they'll die with that money. You see people all the time like, oh, I ain't got $20, but you do have $20. You just don't want to give it because that poverty mentality tells you to be stingy.
Yeah.
And that's what I always try to talk, especially when I talk to black girls and boys, is just be a giver. Proverbs 19:17 is pity the poor and you lend to God. And I always say that your biggest gift to society is to be a giver. And even if you have $1, just give it because God always repays back.
Amen.
And I feel like we need to get back to that place. Don't rush me today. Go ahead.
Ooh, who rushing you? I'm like, what? Oh my goodness. Well, I certainly wish you would have those same sentiments for your
counterpart.
yes,
Why do y'all keep saying
your friend in
counterpart?
chief or whatever that
Friend in
is
chief.
I wish you'd have those same sentiments, because that could really probably help him. Well, that's a wrap for today's show. But before we sign off, we'll leave you with the quote of the day. Love your blackness. You don't have to assimilate to someone else's standard. Be proud of who you are, by Colin Kaepernick. Thanks for hanging out with us. Oh, I'm still over here. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll catch you next time right here on Point of View, only on, y'all know it, Afro TV.